Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Atlanta, Georgia, it's time for Atlanta Business Radio. Brought to you by OnPay. Built in Atlanta, OnPay is the top-rated payroll and HR software anywhere. Get 1 month free at onpay.com. Now, here's your host.
Lee Cantor here, another episode of Atlanta Business Radio, and this is going to be a fun one. But before we get started, it's important to recognize our sponsor, OnPay. Without them, we could not be sharing these important stories. Today on Atlanta Business Radio, we have Andréa Willis with Google. Welcome.
Hi, Lee. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, tell us about, everybody's heard of Google, but maybe they're not aware of this initiative you're working on. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the Grow with Google initiative?
Sure. Thank you, Lee. So Grow with Google is our initiative to create economic opportunity for all Americans. Google started this in 2017. And since then, we've trained 5 million Americans in digital skills and helped them to grow their careers and businesses.
Now, when you say kind of educated this group, how is that done? Is that done like old school classroom? Is it done all online? Is it all self-directed? How does that kind of learning take place?
So it includes a number of different avenues. Prior to COVID, it was both in person and online. So we actually go into local communities and we work with local partners, whether that's a school or a library, to host trainings to help people to grow their career, their small business, and their digital skills. And we also offer all of that training in person at our New York City Learning Center, which is housed in our Chelsea office in Manhattan, where we would offer classes 6 days a week free for the community. Now post-COVID, we have taken all of this training online. It's still all free, and people can go and take classes on grow.google on everything from, how to build a resume to how to manage your business remotely.
Now, it seems like there's obviously the pandemic has caused a disruption on how learning is taking place, and a lot of people had to, not by choice, move online. So maybe there's more of an adoption of this. They're getting more comfortable doing online learning. Do you think there's going to be a place for these types of learning, these specific skills to get a job and get maybe a certificate of either completion or mastery in order to prove to a person, an employer, hey, look, I know how to do, whatever that task is. Here's my proof. Are you seeing more and more of that?
Yes, we are seeing people, searching more and more for online training. And more jobs are requiring medium to high level digital skills. So, that's really Google's expertise. So we see this as an opportunity for us to offer our resources to really help job seekers and small businesses grow their digital skills so that they are competitive for, high paying, high growth jobs, and so that they can continue to, reach consumers and customers online.
And then the types of skills, some of them are kind of super high techy. You got to be pretty smart, pretty good at math, but not every kind of digital skill is needed in that regard, right? Like you can learn how to do the ads and get a certificate in Google Ads and learn how to be good at that side of the business as well, not just code. And I just don't want to put off anybody that's, I'm not great at math or I'm not super kind of STEM person, but I still want to see if there's things for me.
Sure. So I'm glad that you mentioned that because we actually released 3 new Google career certificates in high-paying, high-growth fields. And those certificates are in user experience design, project management, and data analytics. And they don't require a degree. We found that those are high-demand jobs. And to your point, like they don't require you to be super techie or to be a scientist or a mathematician. These are skills that we believe anyone can learn, and we really wanted to open a wide net for people to take these certificates as a pathway into jobs. So that's the reason why they do not require a degree. And in fact, if you complete one of those certificates and you apply to a role at Google, we will consider it the equivalent of a 4-year degree for related roles.
And that's something maybe the listener doesn't fully understand, that companies like Google just care about, can you do the work? And if you have proof that you can do the work, you don't have to, invest 4 years of your life necessarily and go to a college and be hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. There's other pathways to having a successful career.
Absolutely. We realize that not everyone necessarily has access to college or has time to go back to school. So that's why we are creating these, alternate pathways for people to skill and still get a great job. So to your point, a lot of roles at Google are actually a bachelor's degree or equivalent. So not necessarily bachelor's degree required. So we're really trying to help people get what an equivalent could be, so that they can still get these roles that a lot of people would often associate with having to have a bachelor's degree.
And a lot of the work at Google they're doing in a way that it's not, you don't have to pay. There's a lot of scholarships available. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. So for these 3 new certificates, we are offering 100,000 need-based scholarships to help create access for people to take them. They'll be available online on Coursera.
So you're partnering with Coursera, and they can go to the Coursera website and find out more information about that?
Yeah, so the certificates will be hosted online through Coursera, an online learning platform. And you can actually go to grow.google to learn more about those certificates. They will be launching by the end of the year. And you will also get notified when the scholarships are available.
And then is this kind of, you go at your own pace? How does the classwork actually work?
Yes. So the certificates are designed to be completed in 3 to 6 months, and they are go at your own pace. So if you already have a job or other commitments, you can really tailor it to your schedule, and they're self-guided.
And so if you have questions, is there kind of a help desk? Are there instructors that can help if you have questions or need extra help?
Yes. So what's great about Coursera is that there are forums where you can go and you can get that kind of support.
Now, another thing that's especially relevant for the recent graduates, this is a tough job market. A lot of companies aren't hiring because they can't, onboard the people properly. They can't train them because they're not in the same room with them. Is there any opportunities for like internships or apprentice type opportunities?
Yeah. So, through the certificates, it's really important that we are creating a pathway for jobs to people, not just equipping them with these skills. So there are a number of ways that we're doing that. One, we will have a hiring consortium of top employers who will agree to look at resumes of people who have completed these certificates. The second way, like that you just mentioned, is that Google will actually have apprenticeships across each of the certificates so that people can get real on-the-job training. And then we'll actually also start to offer them in career and technical high schools so that students can get a head start on learning these types of skills.
Yeah, I think that's in this country is a missed opportunity for a lot of folks kind of pushing their kids into just university and not taking advantage of all the technical education available that's out there in the vocational, because there's a lot of needs. Those skills are hard to kind of automate, a lot of those skills. And by giving people a path towards that, you're really helping a lot of folks.
Absolutely. And, I think for Google, these certificates, the new ones, are not theoretical for us. They're actually based off of the success of a certificate that we launched in 2018 called the Google IT Support Professional Certificate. So we created that certificate to actually based off of an internal program where we were trying to fill IT support roles. And we realized that, IT support is a skill that is very teachable. To your point about, starting early and helping people, get skills that will actually be really useful. So IT support is very teachable. It's really in demand, and the median salary for it is $55,000 a year. So we created a certificate for it that people could take, so that you could gain these really crucial skills. And, IT support often does not require a degree. So we launched that IT support professional certificate on Coursera. It has since become the #1 certificate globally on the platform. And we've seen huge success. 80% of the people who take that certificate report a positive career impact within 6 months, whether that's getting a promotion or a raise or a new job. And so as a result of that success, we are now offering similar certificates that don't require a degree, in the new fields that we discussed.
Now, are you seeing that as a trend in education where there's going to be a lot of corporates kind of growing their own, saying, look, we have a need for this type of skill. This might be a skill that other people would have a need for, and we'll invest kind of in the infrastructure and curriculum to build that out, and then give them a certificate to solve a specific problem you might be having, but then it'll solve other people's problems as well and give a path to the non-traditional learner?
Yes. So these certificates are, designed by Google, by Google employees who work in these specific areas. But we do consult other employers to make sure that the curriculum is such that it'll actually help them, once the learner graduates from the course, fill their open roles in related areas. So that's exactly what we did with the IT support professional certificate. And the hiring consortium of employers who have agreed to look at and actively review those resumes for graduates includes top national employers like Walmart, Hulu, and Sprint. So we really consider these certificates as a pipeline, not just for Google, but for other companies and other companies that are outside of the tech industry. We really try to create these certificates in areas that can go into so many different fields and help so many different companies.
Right. The skills are transferable. It shows mastery of maybe your specific curriculum, but once you have that, then it's probably not that big of a leap to do a similar thing in another company.
Absolutely. And, that was really important to Google when designing these certificates. We wanted to create as many opportunities as possible for graduates to go into, many different fields. And also just to, continue that collaboration across sectors, meeting a need that a lot of people have with these skill sets.
Now, have you had a chance to kind of see these stories unfold in terms of talking with anybody that's actually gone through the program and seen it impact their life?
Yes, I think that is what's really powerful about the program is that, we have these proof points from the IT support certificate that really gave us confidence to have these new certificates launch. Examples are people who have gone from call centers to IT support positions at the World Bank, or people who were in restaurant management who were then able to transfer, those customer service skills to an IT support position at a nonprofit. We have really incredible stories like that where people's lives were really changed, where they were able to, make more money, spend more time with family, just as a result of taking this certificate. One learner that comes to mind in particular is Yves Cooper. He was someone who really wanted to kind of work in the IT space, but he had to drop out of college because he was working part-time and he wasn't able to do both. But he discovered our IT support certificate through one of our partners, Merit America. And as a result, he was able to take that certificate, while balancing his part-time work. And he was offered an IT role 5 days after completing that program.
Yeah, stories like that, and I've heard people go through those kind of coding academies and change the whole trajectory of not only their lives, but their families' lives. the impact that this type of training gives a person and the freedom it gives them is really phenomenal in terms of now they're in a different kind of stratosphere in terms of career. It opens so many doors and really can make an impact that ripples through the whole community.
Absolutely. I think that's why we are so passionate about it, because it does change people's lives. And to the point that we talked about earlier, it's not, you don't have to go to, back to college or, study mathematics or like really, technical things to have access to a better career and, mobility in that career.
So now, if somebody wanted to learn more, what are the coordinates? I guess the grow.google is where they should start.
Yes. If you would like to learn more, you can go to grow.google. You can learn more about our career certificates, or if you want to start, taking classes today, we offer free courses for job seekers, small businesses, or people who, just want to learn more about digital skills.
And then where can they find more about like kind of the grants and the scholarships and things like that? Is that at the same place?
That's at the same place. That's at grow.google. And you can sign up specifically to learn more about the new certificates and the scholarships by going to grow.google/certificates.
Good stuff. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. You're doing important work and we appreciate you.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
This is Lee Cantor. We'll see you all next time on Atlanta Business Radio. And remember, this work would not be possible without the support of our sponsor, OnPay. Please support them so we can continue to share these important stories.
Today's episode of Atlanta Business Radio is brought to you by OnPay. Built in Atlanta, OnPay is the top-rated payroll and HR software anywhere. Get 1 month free at onpay.com.